Hello everyone, it's Arnaud Delapierre, and welcome to my channel dedicated to scandal. Today, we're going to talk about the Madoff case, considered the biggest financial scandal of all the time. In this video, you will discover how a mere fund giant duped investors, institutions and regulators for years before bringing everything crashing down. His name, Bernard Madoff. Where? When? Why? Everything will be covered in this information-packed episode. Sit back comfortably and feel free to subscribe and like if you enjoyed the content. Get ready, because the story is as mind-blowing as it is resounding. Bernard Madoff was not unknown. He had the status of a respectable figure on Wall Street, notably thanks to his investment company launched in the 1960s. His fund promised regular and almost risk-free gains, which attracted both wealthy individuals and certain prestigious banks and firms. At that time, no one really dared to be suspicious of him. His so-called success dazzling designates an exceptional system. The controls seemed too lax, and the person had a remarkable talent for playing on the trust of everyone who wanted to benefit from his seemingly miraculous formula. The mechanism he set up summed up to a vast fraudulent scheme. The money from new clients was used to pay the old ones, creating the illusion of performance. Incredible. No need for actual stock market operations. Madoff simply redistributed the funds and issued fake statements. His influence was strengthened by networks of intermediaries who sent him all sorts of investors. Thanks to returns, allegedly stable, he was always gaining more followers. Most did not perform any precise verification, relying solely on his reputation and a few misleading documents. Before going any further, let me briefly tell you about an opportunity, the Notrade app, available on iOS and Android. It is completely free and offers remarkable trading signals. Practical for spotting potential opportunities, the tool features a clear design and quick handling, suitable for crypto, stocks, forex, etc. No need to be glued to your screen constantly. Notrade alerts you and allows you to refine your strategy. Without you, spread out, you can act on interesting positions as soon as they appear. It's the kind of solution that can really simplify the lives of many traders, whether they are beginners or experienced. The Madoff pyramid was not actually invisible. For years, various independent analysts tried to sound the alarm. Among them, expert Harry Markopoulos had written several reports indicating that the figures announced by Madoff were absurd, even impossible to achieve. These warnings were sent to the SEC, the American Market Regulation Authority. But nothing really changed. The investigators lacked rigor or were afraid to confront, I would say, the man considered a giant. Meanwhile, Madoff continued his masquerade, still collecting more money and distributing his fictitious profits. In 2008, the global economic crisis caused a lot of distrust in the investment sector. Many panicked investors sought to withdraw their savings to secure them. Madoff, unable to cover the enormous withdrawal requests, found himself facing the inevitable. The amounts claimed far exceeded the money available in his communal fund. Seeing the trap closing in, he confessed all his deceit to his children. His close associates even discovered the extent of the damage at that moment. That's how the scandal finally came to light. The day the scandal broke, Wall Street was shaken. The victims came from all walks of life: the stars, reputable banks, pension funds, and even simple retirees. The amounts involved totaled tens of billions of dollars. Some lost their entire savings, today a lifetime. Others saw their institutions collapse. The financial landscape remained affected. Often people discovered that the money they thought they had didn't actually exist or had already gone into other pockets. It was a real upheaval, revealing a sometimes blind trust in promises too. Beautiful. After his arrest, Madoff quickly pleaded guilty. During his trial, he explained how he had maintained this gigantic fraud, leaving the entire country in shock. The judges showed him no leniency. He received a sentence of 150 years in prison, a strong symbol of a system that intended to be uncompromising. His victims tried to recover their money, but the task was complex. A specially appointed liquidator worked to track down every possible dollar by filing lawsuits against those who had benefited from withdrawals shortly before the infamous collapse. The earthquake caused by this fraud led to a general questioning of regulatory bodies. The SEC, put on the spot, promised to improve its investigation procedures. Some said that the Madoff case had probably revealed the importance of staying clear-headed in the face of promises that are too good to be true. The financial markets no longer looked at charismatic figures the same way. Several countries also revised their rules, requiring funds to undergo more frequent audits and to provide greater transparency. Investors began to demand more solid proof before entrusting their money. To understand the longevity of the scam, one must understand and take into account the thirst for returns associated with the aura of a big name. When someone is perceived as unbeatable, a form of gullibility sets in. One thinks that if he succeeds for others, he will inevitably succeed for us. Madoff had a good circle and gave the impression of perfectly mastering asset management. People were passing around the good deals, and no one wanted to miss the opportunity to join the group. Unfortunately, this operation was maintained by the lack of rigorous checks and an excess of trust. It is interesting to note that Bernard Madoff had cultivated a philanthropic image. He sat on various charitable organizations, financed public works, and attended galas. All of this reinforced his status as a respectable man and masked his gigantic subterfuge. Many were surprised by his generosity and discretion, without imagining that behind it, he was executing a fraudulent scheme of unprecedented scale. Those around him often described him as a courteous boss and calm. This public aspect, combined with his winning aura, made the scam all the more formidable. There were fewer suspicions about someone who gives the illusion of being altruistic. Some rumors say that several institutions turned a blind eye, either out of incompetence or to protect interests. There were inquiry commissions to find out why the Securities and Exchange Commission had ignored so many warnings. Critics targeted the lack of coordination between different services and the absence of significant feedback during and after the initial complaints. The victims felt abandoned, having little left to survive. The scandal shed light on how easily even the organizations meant to protect the public can be deceived. For many, the Madoff affair was a wake-up call for the need for increased vigilance. Many remember from this story that one should not blindly rely on promises of quick returns, even when facing a respectable figure. You have to keep a critical mind and ask for concrete proof. In the case of Madoff, everything seemed too perfect. Regular profits in all market conditions without ever any real declines. Another lesson is that authorities and auditors must implement more modern control methods to quickly uncover those who manipulate statements. The Madoff case remains a symbol of fraud and immense pride. Madoff died in prison in 2021, leaving behind a completely shattered family. His sons, who worked in the firm, claimed they were unaware of the extent of the fraud. One of them died under tragic circumstances, and the other died from cancer. Some believe the weight of the scandal contributed to this tragedy. For many defrauded investors, the page will never truly be turned because they lost loved ones, entire retirements. This case also fueled a deep anger towards Wall Street, a symbol of excess and abuse of trust. Thank you for staying until the end. The Madoff case shows us how trust can be manipulated when vigilance is lacking. Whether you are a beginner investor or experienced, do your research, ask for proof, and diversify your approaches. I hope this episode taught you something and encourages you not to succumb to the siren song of supposedly guaranteed success. If you enjoyed the content, consider subscribing to the channel and liking this video to support the work. We will meet soon for a new scandal. Until then, stay curious and take care of your finances.